All right. Welcome in. Welcome back to the BFR podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name is Dave, joined by Ficky, Jack here. Of course, we're going to go ahead and touch base with last week a little bit, and then we're going to kind of really quickly turn the page to the Vikings game. A lot to get to, a lot of content, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff has actually happened as well with obviously Thomas Brown and his press conference this week. But before we get into any of that, Ficky, how you doing, man?
Man, doing much better now that it's been a couple days since though. Can't believe it. Feels like it's been forever, but since that Packers horrific to the next week and you know what I mean? It's just tired of losing. How are you, Jack?
How are you doing, Jack?
We're better. We're doing better. We'll get to it.
Sounds better.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. You know, it's Friday, I guess. It's sort of like it's become numbing. I feel like, to me at least, where like now that the game's in 2 days, I'm just like, all right, you know, like it used to be early in the year. It was like, holy shit, like 2 more days, ready to go. And I'm just like, because I don't want to lose, but at the same time, if we do, I'm like top 10.
I saw Kyle Brandt. He had a little segment where he talked about, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was on Rick Eisen, talked about how he was feeling after this game and how you typically would feel like emotions, right? You'd be angry, upset. With the Packers game, I tweeted, like, I had no emotion. Like, it was almost like expected something to go wrong. And I think that's really fair for most of us to kind of have that same mindset when it comes to the Packers. So I like it. What we can move on. Packers, Bears was obviously a disappointment. We should have won that game, but that's kind of been the storyline of this year. Like, situationally, the Bears have just been brutal. They just have not been good enough. And that starts with the head coach. Did we lose Ficky? I think we just lost Ficky. You're muted, Jack. What's going on right now?
It's chaos. Absolute chaos.
Ficky, are you here?
Yes, sorry. I was getting bad feedback. It kept like doing that delay. Every time we talk, it sounds like I got fucking 8 voices in my head trying to follow along.
Good, man.
Good. Sorry about that.
No, like I said, I think it's time to turn the page. We have a lot to get to. I'm sure, first of all, if you guys have any questions, let's go ahead and throw these in the chat right now. We don't really have a Q&A episode cooked for you guys. We didn't tweet about it. So if you're on Twitter, YouTube, go ahead and comment. Jack's going to go ahead and star them, mark them for us. We'll get to those throughout the show. I want to kind of start with, did you want to get to the 4K tracker with Caleb, or do you want to go through the injury report first?
Let's go with the 4K tracker here.
Let's do it.
So, boys, it is not looking good. I'll tell you that much. So, Caleb last week had 231 yards, which is, that's decent. If he had done that all season, easily he'd be flirting with 4K. But that 3-span game before this, not looking so great. So his year-to-date last week was 198. He jumped up 3 yards after this game, so that's good. But he still has to average 283 yards, and there's only 7 games left. And as we know, those are against some quality opponents like the Vikings we have coming up. So not to burst the bubble, but I don't think our boy is going to get 4K, and that's okay. You know what? I think the goal of this at this point is like, let's not have any more games under 200 yards. And you know what's interesting? We can show the QBR tracker if you want to pull that up as well, Jack. The interesting point is going to be the moment once Shane Waldron got let go. Because as we look at this tracker here, we saw a great ascension from week 2 to week 5 to week 6, where we're like, yo, Caleb's dude, that's it. And then we saw him shit the bed, the whole offense, those 3 games, which honestly led to Shane Waldron getting fired. So week 10 and on, it's going to be interesting to see if that stays up near the 80 or above mark. If that's the case, then I'm going to feel much better about Caleb in his season, because I'm going to tie most of his low-performing games to the coordinator and less to him. And I think that's a great kind of hypothesis, which I feel like is kind of obvious, right? Obviously, Shane Waldron had some part in this, but what Thomas Brown said this week, and Dave, I know you were tweeting about him a lot this week, and just how he spoke with the media and things like that, which is second week in a row looked kind of like a head coach speaking. But he made some comments this week that really had me sold. Now, again, I know it's only one game. We only have one data point. But he was like, how are you going to do with, like, getting people the ball? I don't remember the exact quote, but he's basically like, look, it's about not having sackable plays. It's about adjusting. It's not about what I want to call. It's about what works for this team. And that is so funny because for 2 weeks straight, I remember being on here being like, bro, why are we running deep concepts when our offensive line is, first of all, not the best, but like at best they're average. And then they were injured like crazy. We had like 3 starters out and we're running like, I think DJ Moore's like average depth of target was like 8 yards. I'm like, bro, you're asking these third strings to block for 5 seconds. And it's just funny. Thomas Brown's like, look, I got to figure out how to get the ball out quick for Caleb so he doesn't have to sit back there all day when this offensive line is not as strong as it should be, right? So I'm hoping that we start to see some progression, which we saw last week. Doesn't mean every game is going to be like last week, but like if he can stay more on the positive ends of things when it comes to some of those metrics, I'll feel much better about Caleb as a whole with this season than how we felt during that 4-week stretch. But David, look like you had something to say.
I wanted to, because that quote, Thomas Brown, I did tweet it. It was like the only positive thing this week was Thomas Brown, unfortunately. And then also special teams coach
Hightower.
Hightower, Washington. Why am I thinking Washington? What the hell is that?
Don't remind us, bro.
Who's Washington?
The Commanders. That's all I can think about. And I don't want to go back there.
What is Washington? Hail Mary. No, so it was one of my favorite quotes of the week because one of the big ones was just how he said, hey, there's no attaboys in this league. You know, we didn't win. It wasn't good enough, right? Love that accountability. We just don't see that. I think Matt Eberflus should take some notes there. But one of my favorite quotes is what you you mentioned earlier. I'm going to read it word for word from Thomas Brown this week. It doesn't matter what I'm comfortable with. And this was about calling plays for his players. He said, it doesn't matter what I'm comfortable with. I don't play. I can always adapt and adjust. And so for me, it's like as fans, as media, right, that's what we've been preaching for. Like even with back to Justin Fields, Mitch Trubisky, even roll him out, roll out Justin, right? Caleb, it was deep concepts. It was looking a little, erratic at times when it came to Shane Waldron and what he would do. Cause there were some good games that he actually called. The Rams comes to mind. Obviously Carolina. Jacksonville, they had success, Carolina and Thomas Brown. It was really refreshing this week. I think that's the word I want to use here when it comes to just him covering the team. And even Adam Hogue talked about like the command that Thomas Brown actually has in this locker room in 10 days is really alarming, but in a good way, because it's something that he hasn't, as an insider, as a guy that's been around this team longer than I. Obviously, we've watched this team since we were younger, but these guys have been covering it, right? Some of these veterans on the beat. And to have to have him say something like that, I think it holds a lot of weight in regards to Thomas Brown. Sure. And I had an article here on SM about the Bears need to do some due diligence in these final 7 games, because Thomas Brown is somebody that is obviously on a list. I think it was from NFL.com about the up and rising, up and rising head coaching candidates. And Thomas Brown was on there, right? He had the interviews last year, and now he's taken the OC role head on, right? So for me, I have questions about the Bears as an organization. Like they picked Shane Waldron to be the OC, and then obviously got lucky to keep Thomas Brown on staff because he knows Shane. But it's like, why was Shane in that role to begin with if he's this good with the players, right? If he's this good creatively as well. So he's 38 years old. I think the Bears could finally get lucky here. Obviously, it's early. I think the Flores defense that we're going to preview here in a little bit with the Vikings is the ultimate test. It's like, for sure. Hey, what's going on here, right? You're going to have a real test. They're going to blitz, Caleb like crazy. He's expecting it.
They are the 4th highest blitzing team in the NFL right now with 39%. That is so many blitzes per game. That's one out of every 3 plays, Caleb is going to get blitzed. And the good thing is Caleb played well against the blitz last game, but I mean, he didn't get blitzed that much. So you're right, Dave. It's going to be the ultimate test for this Thomas Brown, experiment. The question is, Jack, right? Because I think we talked about this on the private Zoom with our Patreon members, which you guys should join if you want to get private Zoom with Dave, Jack, and I once a month. But on there, we were talking with one of our Patreon members about, will we see something that you were alluding to here, Dave, where it's like the Antonio Pierce, effect. Antonio firing happens in Oakland, Antonio Pierce rallies the troops together. You have veterans like why can't I think of his name? Defensive end. Oh my gosh. Max Crosby. Yeah, I can't think of one of the top players in the league.
It's crazy he's a veteran.
I know. Max Crosby's like, yo, I'm not like, if you don't hire him, I don't want to be here, right? Do we see something like that to where the Bears are kind of forced their hand, not even in a negative way, but like if this offense starts rolling and we all agree that Caleb Williams' development is the number one important thing this season, if we start to see the offense rolling and the players, which they already have now, but throughout the seasons, respect him and, follow his lead, do we see a replication of what we saw in the Raiders? And would that be a mistake? I have no idea. But it's like you said, Dave, it is something interesting to watch. Also, we talked about this last episode. The Bears are on the cheaper end. That would be a much less of an expense than Ben Johnson. That is like getting your value brand products compared to getting top shelf. You know what I mean? That's bottom barrel. Not that he's bad.
There ain't nothing wrong with that sometimes. All right.
No, look. I'm mad about that.
It's
great value.
I am not mad about
sometimes there are other things I'm like, I can't go cheap on. Like, I can't go cheap on toilet paper. I can't, there's certain
you can't be
things.
wiping with your hand.
Yeah, you can't be doing great value toilet paper. I mean, if you are, good for you, but you can't be doing it.
No, but as head coach, that's the question. Is those are factors that we have to kind of watch throughout the season. But if this offense starts clicking, he is going to be, I think, at the top. Maybe not one, but he's going to be up there at the top of the list for Bears head coaching candidates. So, Jack, what's your thoughts on that? Because I know you're really kind of Ben Johnson or nobody, but maybe nobody's not the right word. But
I mean, if the guy balls out and the offense looks good, I'm not going to sit there and complain and cry about it. Like, if he can make a team look good, again, it's hard too because all we have is 1 week. So, like, we have the Bears-Packers game, that's it. And then we have, like, cool pictures from, like, practice and stuff. And then, like, these pictures, like, dude's pouring out with Aura Unlimited with this guy. Thomas Brown's got it. But that's all I got to work off of is he's got Aura, But I think one thing, and this was interesting here with this comment, is Thomas Brown better than Shane Waldron or does he take a step back this weekend? We have to remember here, this is an 8-2 ball club. Like, they're a good team.
They're good.
And they're 8-2 for a reason. So it's okay if Caleb's not throwing 7,000 yards this game. We have to like moderate I guess, our expectations and like keep them in check because we have a gauntlet. Like we've said this since preseason or like off season was like after this week 10 game, like it's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal the rest of the way. So again, it's hard to give. I hope that we just look good at this point. Like we're at that stage in the season where like if we just look good, like we don't need to win every game. We're probably not going to win if any games, but just look good,
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Keep your expectations, tampered low here for this week just because of Flores. But it is interesting because, the Vikings have looked a little vulnerable over weeks. I know they're 8-2, but it's like, I'm like Sam Darnold. I was driving up, I think it was yesterday, I was thinking about this game, and I'm like, Sam freaking Darnold. Like, this is who we're supposed to be, I guess, afraid of. And it's just, I guess it happens to do with, the weapons, Kevin O'Connell.
For sure, the weapons, yeah.
And, he's having kind of resurgence. We saw it last night with, Jameis Winston, the snow globe game last night. So for me, it's just all these games are going to be tough. At least you're at home for this one, right? And you expect, the Bears have enough, I think, offensively and even defensively to at least compete, right? And stay with teams. Like the Arizona game was so frustrating because like Arizona's good and they were hot, of course. Like I think they're still playing very well, but it's like you don't expect this caliber of a roster, or at least this roster that the Bears have right now, to be blown out in at any week. And NFL is just usually in the NFL, every game's relatively close, at least a one score, typically heading into the fourth quarter. And so for me, it's like the goal for this rest of the season is obviously one, Caleb has to show that he is the guy. That's always what we want. We've been hunting for our guy, and some people believe he is already with what they've seen. I just want to see consistency. I think Thomas Brown will be another storyline. I think that we have to monitor here because obviously Flus, he's probably gone. You would hope
98%,
and so 98%, right? And so for me, that's a huge storyline. I think Keenan Allen as well. Like he popped up. We're going to get to here in a little bit about him being on the injury report, but like Is he back next week? So I think or next year, there's just a lot of, stuff to kind of watch for in these final 7 games, not just wins and losses, obviously progression from the quarterback, offense, defense, and even Tyreek Stevenson. I wrote about it today. I think that his snap count has been about almost half the last 2 weeks with Terrell Smith. And so for me, I'm like, is Stevenson here? Is it going to teeter? Like, the one thing I'm going to watch this week is the snap count between Terrell Smith and Tyreek Stevenson, right? Is it going to finally favor Terrell Smith, who I think should get an opportunity, because Stevenson has actually played. I know a lot of a lot of the focus is on his behavior, his immaturity, his, not being disciplined at times. And I think that's totally warranted. But it's like, when you focus on the play, the film, and even the stats, the deep analytics, he is, for lack of a better, awful.
Ever since
the
Washington.
Worst corner on this team. He's the worst corner on this team, man.
But it wasn't in the beginning of the season, though. It's literally been like since Washington.
He's been targeted 400 plus times this year.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Or not 400, not target. He's been on the snap count 400. Can you believe that? 400 times.
Well, I was like, hey, that's crazy. I wasn't going to question it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
No, there's been over 400. He's taken 400 snaps, right? Terrell Smith's taken about 137 is when I was looking at the numbers. But he's been targeted the most, right? Because he is obviously not Jalen Johnson. And so you're going to stay away from him for the most part. But for Stevenson to be targeted as much, I understand that he's going to give up yards, but it's like, when you take everything that you're looking at, from the maturity issues to the actual play, it's very alarming. So I'm like, for me, I believe they're not going to bench him, but I think we could really see a high dose of Terrell Smith this week. And I hope we do, man. I really do. So
you're talking about, and we'll get
400 targets.
I know.
Well,
at this point, it feels like it. It feels like it, right? Every third down,
I bet Stevenson feels like it.
Sure. But speaking of the Vikings here, you were talking about how, they look beatable, and they do. But there's actually an interesting stat I saw about them. If they hold their opponents to 30 points or less, they're 8-0. Every game they've allowed their opponent, which isn't much. They've only done it twice. This is a really good defense. Both times they've allowed 30 points or more, they've lost. So that is definitely a key that we're going to have to look out for. Question is, do we expect this offense? You asked us 2 weeks ago. We wouldn't expect we'd score 3 points, which I think we actually did against the Patriots 2 weeks ago. But can this offense still continue down that track? And I think that's a good transition, Jack. If you want to pull up the team overview, let's take a look at the footballs here. Let's see what we got going. This is always the best part, to see how many fucking footballs we have on offense. Excuse my language. But on passing, we still have 0, which is quite sad. Very sad. For rushing, we did gain a ball. DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, they've been pretty decent. It's been like, when our offense has played well, our rushing game has been there. Right? And we talked about that from the beginning of the season. We get the running game going, the pass opens up. So that's great to see here. Defense, the exact same. Pass rush, the same. Run defense, still shoddy, as we know. And the pass defense still looks great. Okay? But if you look on the other side of the ball, look at that defensive squad. You thought the Bears defense was good. It is no comparison to this Vikings defense. They are the 4th. I mean, they have 4 footballs for pass rush. I think they're number 7. Or no, they might be like 12 in pass defense. They're the 7th best rushing defense. And then for their pass rush, I think they're like 10 or something like that. So you got top 10 in every category. And it's not just from a statistical standpoint. You watch them play, the film shows this well. And they do all of this while blitzing heavy and causing tons of pressure for opposing quarterbacks. And you know what's one of the biggest things to do to a rookie quarterback is to blitz them. That's why you see teams do it to the Bears all the time and other rookie quarterbacks, because they haven't seen enough defensive fronts that they don't know how to adjust or what they're seeing and blitz concepts and things like that. And then they force bad plays, make errors, things like that because of the rush. So expect a lot of that. Now on the offensive side, really all they got is their passing. And that's loosely putting it out there, right? Loose term, with all they have is their passing, when they have the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, and also probably the number 1 wide receiver in NFL history, at least on pace to be, with JJ right now, he's only 8 yards away from 1,000 yards, which is crazy. He would fall now into the same category with like the greats Mike Evans, with first 4 seasons eclipsing 1,000 yards, which is crazy to think about. But overall, will our offense be able to score on this defense? Because I think our secondary will do good enough to keep the Bears in it. But on the offensive front, will Thomas Brown in this new resurgence of offense be able to move the ball down the field? So, and as you saw, the football count there was the exact same as the Packers. I think it was like 17-10 or 18-10. And that's what it was last week. And we still were kind of in that game. So I know it's two different teams, whole different scenarios.
Should have won that game.
We should have. Another loss under our belt, but maybe there's a chance. Who knows? We'll find out.
I expect nothing. Of course, I'll be upset with a loss, but I expect nothing. That makes sense.
Exactly.
But man, that defense, Minnesota defense, dude. Oh man,
it is scary. It scares the shit out of. It scares the shit out of me. When I was going through it, I was looking at all the numbers.
Do not want to see a 9+ sack game, which we're gonna get to. Let's get to the injury report because I think that will lead into kind of
I think it's good
sacks, I guess, and hopefully there being less and less moving forward. So. Ryan Bates, I call this the Lucas Patrick type deal here because he is now out as well. I just feel like he's missing some time, similar to like Lucas Patrick. That signing is just not working out. But
how many games has he even played? Has he played a full game this season? I don't think he has.
When he does play, he gets hurt. But he's
got hurt last
protocol.
Week. Okay.
Still, he is out. Elijah Hicks is out. I think Flu said that Jonathan Owens is going to be the starter in his place. So that'll be cool to see. Simone Biles' husband out there, Keenan Allen, obviously an ankle injury on Friday. He injured it, tweaked it. They're hopeful. The Bears are hopeful that he'll be out there on Sunday, but he's questionable as far as game status goes for Sunday. Karan Amagaji, man, I wish I could. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Good. All right, cool. Calf injury. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. He was limited Friday. He's questionable. DeAndre Swift, this is a big one. Groin injury. Did not practice Wednesday. Thursday was limited. Friday, full practice. He's still listed as questionable, but I feel good, hopefully, with that full designation on Friday. So Tevin Jenkins, this is really good. He's back full. No, his game status is cleared. He's good to go. Mercedes Lewis, why is he on this thing? I don't understand. He will get his snap in, and he'll get his frustrating snap or two because he hasn't been perfect this year. He's had some good blocks, but he's also had some moments where I'm like, okay. Why are we trying him out here?
Well, that was Shane Waldron, though. That was earlier in the season where Shane would target him way too much
on a crucial third down. Let's try to get Mercedes Lewis the ball, feed your guy. No, it was Gerald Everett most case. But I like the Bears. They're getting healthy, which is great. Funny thing is, I still have people I tweet out the Friday injury report because that's the one that matters, and I still have people being like, "What's wrong with Jaquan Brisker? Where is he at?" And I'm like, man, where are you? Where have you guys been? I guess there's some people that just probably watch the games, probably don't follow the team as close as others.
Oh, no.
But I'm like,
he's on IR.
He's on IR, man. That's a big one.
Now, when is he coming back? That's a more fair question.
I'll be honest. I think he's gone for the season. I think he's done. I think they're shutting him down. I heard that after the third week he missed, I heard that he could be out for the season. And so now him going on this IR stint, I don't think they're going to rush him back. There's nothing to play for right now. Could it change? Maybe somehow you go on a run here. Yeah, dude, he's lightning. He plays so hard. You hate to see him. He's one of our favorite players. So we'll see. But I like as far as the injury report goes, I'm feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah, we've seen, when a list is much, when you look and you're like, oh, there's this much, it's not a full page. I'm like, fantastic.
Yeah, we'll take that every week.
Yes, we will. Jack, you'll like this one. If you bring up the Vikings injury report, and Dave, you can go over, but I just want to mention something.
No, you can go over.
Look. Yes, bro. I was going, I have to give respect to the Vikings social media team. They did a full image. I didn't have to go to a website and get a screenshot. It's themed. It matches their whole Twitter page. Hats off. It's actually the first one this season. I know people are like, we don't care, but I do. Jack and I do.
I do.
This is the first one this season where I was like, you know what? You did better than the Bears. So hats off to them. But if we're looking at this list, Sam Darnold, I guess let's look at the most important ones, right? You had Jonathan Bullard who was on there, but he's going to participate, right? He had a toe. He was limited Wednesday. Sam Darnold was limited on Wednesday, but Thursday he was full, and he was full today. I know this isn't the most updated one. And then Aaron Jones had a rib injury, but he was full all the way through. So you think we're healthy? They're much healthier. That's basically it. They're not missing anyone important.
Fun fact, Green Bay was relatively healthy last week too.
Every team except the only team this season that hasn't where we have been healthier than was the Rams because they had Puka, they had
Cup
out, and then they also had two tackles out, I think, or something like that. But every team so far this season, we've always had more injuries. So, yay, right? So,
it's very for you.
Yep, it sure is. And I don't even know like if that's anything that can be fixed, if some of that's luck. I mean, they have a pretty nice medical facility. Like it grades highly when the players do their grades and whatnot. So
the reports are practice isn't hard. So
they do whatever they want.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what they must have some deadly bikes that fucking tire them out.
No, I think it is. At the end of the day, man, football is crazy weird. You know,
for sure.
I mean, you look at Rome, how MCL early in the season where a player just ran into him from our own player blocking that player. So it's like, it's honestly a series of events where you just hope to God you don't get, rolled over or whatever. So I'm surprised how healthy Caleb's been. I mean, knock on wood here, but
6'6", especially that 6'6" and 9 stretch of sacks. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that doesn't even count. Like if you got sacked 9 times, that means you got hit like 14. Let's be real.
I will say one of my favorite things, biggest development here is his legs last week. I know we talked about it in our instant reactions. Continue that, dude. Because the offensive line isn't great. I think that's one thing Thomas Brown, kind of lit under him is like, hey, you're an athlete. Like, I know you want to stay in the pocket, show that you can be a pocket passer. We all believe in you, but this line, you shouldn't put that much faith in it, at least right now. So I loved how he was just, hey, sometimes he just went, right? Got to the edge.
Decisive. He's
quicker than you. He's an athlete. So I hope he does that, especially against Brian Flores. He understands it's going to be a really, really chaotic game plan. A lot of exotic blitzes. I think Caleb talked about he's the king of cover zero blitz, right? So the Bears are expecting. They should expect this. Like, now can they stop it? It's going to be interesting. So
sure will, man. Like you said, he's played well against the blitz this year. He does well against man as well, knowing to take off. So
under punts this week from Tory Taylor. I'll set it at 7.
7.
That's fucking so high.
No, let's do 5. Let's do 5.
Okay.
I think that's.
I'll go under, but there might be a turnover in there, so that that you don't punt because you turn the ball over. So I'm gonna go under.
So you're going under. I think
the defense is good, bro. This is probably the best defense we're playing. So
I'm under. I give us one punt, third quarter,
bro. One punt. Have you seen this team in the first quarter? Like, I'd get maybe 1 point in the first quarter. That means we have to score.
I can tell you the score breakdown right now if you really want to know it. 3 points in the first, 10 in the second, and then we'll have our punt weird quarter. Let's say we don't score. We'll score 7 again. And then fourth quarter.
This is what Jack wants to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
This is what's going to happen. I'm telling you. Remember this. I don't even know what I said. 3-7, 7-7.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll hold you for that one. Look, if we just get 7 in the first, like, I'm good. Like, even that's 1 punt in the first quarter, I am definitely okay with that. Well, speaking of trying to score in the first quarter, if you don't mind, let's go ahead. Actually, before we get into our bold takes and we move into the rest of our pregame show, let's go ahead and talk about ways that you guys can support us. First off, if this is your first time being here, go ahead and do one of these in your living room. Don't worry, we won't judge. All right. No, it's your first time here. First of all, we really do appreciate it. Go ahead and like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on Twitter, please make sure to repost and share. And then to all of our Google and Apple listeners, we appreciate all of you that listen after we post these. And the replay game, I guess, as we can call you, since y'all don't catch us live. But we really do appreciate y'all. Y'all be leaving some comments and questions and stuff like that on the podcast. So we appreciate the love. If you want to rate us on there as well, 5-star, 4-star, whatever you want to rate us.
Oh, no 4 stars.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
Forget that.
But whatever it is, give us the 5 stars and let us know if there's anything that you would like to see us talk about or things you want to prove on.
Someone did give us a 4-star. Didn't even leave a comment. I was just like, what? How is that useful?
Let us know so we can get better.
How can we get better?
But yeah, we appreciate, though, all of you podcast listeners on Apple and Spotify and all the other places you can get your podcasts. Also, if this is your first time, other than just liking and subscribe, please give a hashtag new face gang in the chat. We'll give a shout out to you before the end of the show. And if you are an OG in here, which I know there's a bunch of the OGs in the chat because we see y'all in here, please give a hashtag OG in the chat and we'll make sure to give you a shout out as well at the end of the show. And also, if you want to go ahead and give your score predictions as well, when we get to ours, we can go ahead and give a shout out on those as well. So other than just liking and subscribing, you guys can also support us by going to thebfrstore.com. We have hats, hoodies, shirts, everything you could ever want. I know right now it's tough being a Bears fan, and we don't want to get humiliated in public wearing the Bears logo. You won't get laughed at. No one's going to point at you if you're wearing the BFR jersey or the shirt or the logo. It's just a way to say, hey, look, I rep the Bears, but I'm not as pathetic as the Bears right now. So if you want to rep them but still look cool, go to the BFR store like Jack's doing right now. We really do appreciate all the funds from there. Just go right back into the show, and also go into our Patreon because we're building a community as we speak on there. So if you want to join our Patreon, it's the BFR Den on Patreon. We have 2 tiers, the Hall of Fame Grizzly tier and the free tier and the rookie Grizzly tier. On there, we have monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more. And what we're going to be doing new, which I don't think Dave and Jack even know about this, we're giving a shout out to all of our Patreon members. So first off, let's give a shout out to Michael, who we had our private Zoom call with. He's all the way in UK, so he stayed up till 1 a.m. to hop on the private Zoom call with Dave, Jack, and I. So awesome talking to you. And then also our OG number 1 Patreon member, number 1 Hall of Fame Grizzly member, Gage, as well. Always been a big support of the show, and we appreciate it. Like you said, you get a private Zoom with the squad once a month. 30 minutes, we talk about anything Bears, anything. Sometimes we cry, shed tears, just a good old venting session together. So also shout out to our rookie Grizzlies. We got Alex Hamilton, Brian Hoffman, Chris Ford, Jason Siegel, and Eston Clayton. So thank you all for everyone that's joined the Patreon. We do have our monthly giveaway coming out here at the end of the month like we do every month. So if you want to be a part of that, you still have a chance to join. Our small tier, our rookie tier is only $3. It's like a cup of coffee, right? And our Hall of Fame tier is only $10. So I appreciate all the love and the support so far. Please like and subscribe. Join the Patreon if you can. Go buy some merch if you feel like it. Black Friday's coming up. Go get some for the fam, your friends, and whatnot. And that's about it.
I love the footage.
Oh, the Bears. Isn't that great? I got to bring them back.
First of all, shout out to our Patreon members in both Hall of Fame rookie tier. I love it. But that footage, my gosh, awesome. Dude.
I had fun making that one. I'm not going to lie. So.
It sounds crazy. I feel like I would genuinely put up a fight.
Like with a bear?
Small one? That's
no. No, give me the big ass.
Or with our Patreon members.
Oh my gosh!
Jack,
I would never fight any Patreon members unless they wanted me to.
I'm going to stop you there. Let's move on to the next segment. The Jack.
Time out. Jack, you just said. Let me clarify. You just said you think you can fight a bear.
After watching that footage, I'm like, dude. Like again, it's stereotypical.
Bro, they're eating grass. They're just chilling.
That's what I mean.
Just
like
chill guys.
They see you at dinner, man.
I eat every animal. They eat grass, man. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it's a weird thing in my head where I'm like, put me one-on-one. Like, I didn't say I would beat it. I said I'd put up a fight. I never said that.
I think it might think differently on what it categorizes as a fight. Yeah. No disrespect to you at all. I think most humans, a bear is going to rip to shreds. You know, they can get up to, I know we're getting off topic here. You know, they can get up to like 45 miles an hour in speed or something like that. Or like 35.
You're catching Jack.
Well, yeah. Show me footage of that. I've never seen a bear run in my life. I see them like stand under the tree and like look up at people.
They can climb trees too, so you can't even go up there, bro. There's no place you're safe from a bear. The only place you're safe from a bear is Soldier Field because they will not beat you there. See what I did there?
Bars. We'll end on that.
Hit a little too close to home.
It did. That hurts as we play at Soldier Field this week. So
yeah. But anyways, appreciate the support. Hit that like button if you're here live with us on a Friday. A little bit earlier. Typically we go a little bit later on a Friday night, but we are here 6:24 Central Time. So next segment, what do we got here?
Yeah, bold takes. Dave's gonna be pissed about this one.
Oh,
yeah, because Jack and Dave didn't come away with it
last week. What was mine?
No, yours last week was oh shit. Well, first quarter touchdown. First quarter touchdown.
They got a field goal.
They got a field goal. Yep.
Okay.
Jack's was just crazy. 4 offensive touchdowns. That obviously nobody expected that one.
Close though.
And then mine was a little bit softer. Well, the defense gets turnovers, but they had not been getting turnovers against the Packers in the past 3 games. And honestly, they kind of got lucky because Jordan Love threw the ugliest ball he's probably thrown in a minute and just soared one right to Terrell Smith for an interception. So I did get that one this week. But this week, I'm not going so conservative because I'm going a little bit more specific. So if you want to put my bold take here, I'm saying our boy JJ gets an INT on Sam Darnold.
Makes up for that trip.
Yeah, this is literally what I was thinking. I was like, look, he's probably pissed off about that. He hasn't had a turnover in a minute. He barely gets targeted. Maybe he gets one this week. Sam Darnold's known to throw a pick here or there. So that's my bold take. Probably won't happen, but
it's better than saying Bears defense gets 2 tackles.
That was not what I said.
Actually, believe it or not, do you know who I was writing an article on crazy. SM. It was out today about the Bears defense. Yeah, if you want, you don't have to. I prefer it. Yeah. But the number 1 team in tackling, according to PFF, which is takes a bunch of just success rate tackles, missed tackles, everything like that. The number 1 team by a little bit of a margin here is the Bears.
I believe
they just don't miss.
Last year they were I think they were top 5 in not missed tackles. Mm-hmm. They're known for being ever since Flus has gotten here on that side of the ball, the defense has been great tacklers. They've led the league in turnovers. This year, they're still in turnover differential. They're +9, which makes them 6th in the NFL. So the defense is still doing a good job. The problem is Eberflus just can't be a head coach. So, and I think we'd all agree that we would take defense progressing a little bit. Yes, we would take defense progressing a little bit, and then taking the offense, progressing even more because it is an offensive league. But yeah, I think that's a great find, Dave. But we kind of see that they don't really miss that many tackles, and they turn the ball over. So it doesn't lead to wins as we see. So. So comment here in peril. I don't know. The defense is suspect. Maybe the run defense. I'd agree there, but pass defense has been fantastic all year. And the pass rush has been top 10. And if you were to say that going into the year, looking at who we have on the defensive line, I don't know if any of us would say it was a top 10 defensive line, pass-wise.
Yeah. I was looking at it. I think they're 5th in coverage in NFL right now. But that depends on that's PFF, and that's what I typically go off. There's other analytics sites that have, I think, number 1 somehow. But yeah, I like it. I hope JJ gets one. He's due. He's definitely due.
Someone is. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need one. All right, let's see yours, Dave.
Ooh, wow, man. What was I thinking right in this one? The guy that has not produced this year, I know he's injured, but come on now, Montez Sweat. Give me 1.5 sacks this week from Sweat. I am kind of playing here because he has been hurt a little bit. I understand he doesn't have a true number 2 edge rusher, on the opposite side of him. That definitely helps. However, they paid him good money, and I would like to see a little bit more results, and I hope to see that this week. Man, give me a sack and a half. I don't think that's asking for a lot. Sam Darnold's not too mobile. Just get to the quarterback, bring him down. Maybe a strip sack would be even better.
The offensive line also isn't superb, right? They're not horrible. They're still better than ours.
I just
but
can't believe it, dude. 8-2. Have you looked at the division? 8-2 are the Vikings. 7-3 are the Lions and Packers.
No, Lions are even higher. It's 9, isn't it? Aren't they 9 in?
Oh no, they're not 9. They're not. No, they're not. No freaking way.
Doesn't the Lions have
Vikings
9?
Are leading? No, the Vikings are leading.
I think it's Lions. I think it's 9 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins. Yeah, bro, it sucks.
God.
Yeah, bro, we're done.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, there's no chance.
That's usually when you look at the conference. That's usually what you look at. 9-1,
that's your 4 seed,
7-3, or 8-2, 7-3. That's the conference, right? That's a good top teams in the conference. We got that. That's our division, man.
Yeah.
If only we could keep up, it would be so. That would be so sick.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, look, we have a whole nother year, so that's obviously not gonna. I doubt those top 3 will still be that high, but crazy. But also, look at all 3 of those teams. All have had credible head coaches. Dan Campbell has shown since he's been there, he's a credible head coach. Stefanski, every year the Vikings are good no matter who's there. They're decent enough to be in playoff contention. That's a good coach, a good offensive mind. And then we know LaFleur. LaFleur's good. We know that. It doesn't matter who you have back there. So
speaking of head coaches, there real quick, Dan Campbell, there was a clip that came on Twitter that resurfaced from when they started off 3 or 2-6, 2-7. That one year they start off really bad, right? They're just losing close games. And he was at the presser after a really tough loss, and the man was tearing up, right? He was just I know how hard these guys work. I know how much we're doing the right things, just not the results and everything. All I'm saying is that dude cares. Like, he's a leader of men, one, but to see him like that emotional, I'm like, dang, dude. Right now, I just feel like even when we hired Matt Eberflus, I was just like, I don't know, man. I never felt that conviction. Like, this is our guy. This is our leader for the future. And I think it was after Matt Nagy, right? So I think we're just all ready to kind of move on and give him, obviously give him the benefit of the doubt, give him a shot. But yeah, that clip of, Campbell is just like, it shows like that whole entire Detroit franchise right now really embodies their head coach, and they've bought in, and that shows how important. Obviously, the GM too has done a really good job, but I just getting tired of, I guess, our head coach who just does not. He just triples down on his takes and doesn't have any accountability, and there's just been it's been a chaotic mess, honestly, since last year.
What the biggest damning thing is when I was talking with Jack about this. He had an interview. I don't know if it was last week or the week before this week, but he was basically like, the biggest thing about a coach, which makes sense. We've talked about this, is his staff. It's all about the people you bring in, and because you are delegating so much and you're putting so much responsibility on people that you have to trust that these people can deliver in their areas, right? That's how great businesses are run. That's how most things are run, right? Family dynamics, all that stuff. People have roles and responsibilities, and you got to trust that they can do those things. Well, if you look at the history of Matt Eberflus, whether it's his fault for some of these or not, like, I'm not going to put some of the conduct that happened with some of the coaches on him. Those are individual people, but he's had to let go of a lot of people. Okay. So that tells me something, whether it's you did the actions or not, it might be your evaluation process is not up to par, or the best quality, I would say, recruits, right, aren't viewing you as good enough as a leader to want to come work for you, right? So you're not getting the best source, you're not getting the best pool of employees, or you're getting the best ones and you're looking at that pool and you're identifying the wrong ones. And so because of that, I think a lot of that has trickled down into what we're seeing now. So,
yeah. I think of when we hired even Shane. Like, do you guys, maybe I'm wrong for this. And when I saw Shane and his headshot, I was like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't like to judge people. Like, obviously this is great. I was just like, this is our guy.
Mine was the shaking. I was more of an advocate.
Yeah.
I was more of an advocate. I was like, give a chance. He had a decent tenure in Seattle. Wasn't bad. It wasn't the best option, right? But once he had like the shaking thing and it looked like he was nervous at the pressers, I was like, dude.
Yeah.
You bet. If you're like one of those and you're not great at talking to the public and whatnot, that's
agent,
fine.
or like a really good car salesman, like, like that.
Well,
type
he sold.
Guy.
He definitely was a little shoddy with his selling with flus, because
he's the only one that got a second interview, and he must have killed that thing. Like, it was impressive. But yeah, the shaking, and even then, like, I was like, okay, I get getting nervous, but I was like, wait a second, like, that's his job. Like, yeah,
I've been an offensive coordinator for 4 years.
Yeah, dude, Chicago's different, man. He felt that pressure. He felt it.
Like, I was like week 2. I'm like, bro.
On this market, man. This market will kill you. When we were locked in at OTAs, you ain't never seen anything like that.
Nope. Now with this offense, this Bears team is desperate for anything on offense.
Recording stats in training camp.
Right. That is true. We are a sick group of individuals. We are we're just thirsty for success, man. Desperate for success. That's all it is. Yeah. So, speaking of success,
what is
lack thereof. Oh,
I thought you were leading into it by saying, speaking of success,
I was actually going to go to the score prediction.
I
forgot about Jack's. My bad. Go ahead. Let's pull up yours, Jack.
I'm not even going to explain it. It's happening. I've never, ever been more confident in a bull take than this one. Caleb 300. Easy. Lock in. New offense. Got used to it. Looks good.
If he cooks Flores.
That's a whole different.
Could that make up for the last week? No. But it would be a really good start.
All right, here we go.
Would it make you feel much better about the rest of this season? Oh my God!
I'm all the way back.
Against that defense. Oh, we can't sneak, bro. We got all four teams from the NFC North.
Win out, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be 11-6.
Why not? Why not us?
Why not us?
He's gonna get 300 yards. We're gonna lose by 20.
Or in Bears fashion, it gets close. It gets close and we find a way to lose. That's what would happen. He would get 300. Jack would feel happy. We'd be in a position to win it. And Flus would play conservative some sort of way. Or someone would blow a play or trip over their own legs. Our best player would forget that he's on defense or something. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to Jalen. It's just like that's the Bears right now. Did you see
that stat that just on YouTube said the Vikings are third on containing scrambles? I think it's from Sarah King on YouTube. Damn.
The defense is good, bro.
Dang. That's impressive to do.
Yep. This is off topic a little bit, but for some reason,
not going to win against the Bear, dude.
For some reason, you reminded me.
Bear go, bro.
First of all, I'd kick the Bears' ass. Second of all, I'm surprised that there aren't like riots at like these football games. Now I think about it, like when everyone was like fire Nagy, like you know what I'm talking about, like that last home game. I think it was what it was. I'm surprised more people don't just like jump down off the field and just go to like beat it.
Well, they don't because they want to keep going to games. They would lose. They would lose.
Just jump on the field and beat them. Can you imagine that?
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A group of Bears fans.
Hey, no, look. Forget that. Send a group of Bears on the field, bro. Like you really want to start something.
That'd be sick. What I mean? That'd be sick.
You really want to get some.
Dude, except they would go for Caleb. They would go for Caleb and like.
Well, no. Get all the good players. You can get the players off. We can just have them go at the coaches and whatnot.
Guys, we're gonna bring up the Bears. Let's get everyone off the field. Except Matt, you stay.
You're gonna address the 56,000 fans right now.
It's basically like Gladiator, like Roman times, bro. Gates come down. Tomorrow. It's gonna be good. It's got Denzel. I haven't seen it yet.
Wait, dude.
But yeah. Interesting enough. That is funny though. You're like Jack. You're like that's the most confident I am. I've been about a bold taking. It's against probably the best defense we faced all year.
I'm not scared. I
love it. Obviously not. You want to fight a Bear, so I'm not mad about it. I am not mad about it.
What about your?
You might be mad about these score predictions though. So if we want to pull these up real quick, you're definitely gonna be mad about mine. I'm sorry. I'm trying, but God. I have us losing 27-17. But hear me out. I think the offense still looks positive. Okay. It's a tough, again, we've been harping on it. It's a really, really good defense, but I still think there's a couple of drives, 3 or 4 drives where we move it a good amount of yards. Maybe let's say we get on the 30, we move to like the 40, but can't kick a field goal or something like that. A penalty ends it. We get a couple drives where we score a touchdown and then another drive where we move down and get a field goal, right? I would walk away being like, you know what? Caleb's not broken. This offense isn't broken. We were able to do some good things against a top tier defense. But like the stat I said earlier, the Vikings have never lost if they've held their opponent under 30 points. It is very hard for me to believe, even if this was the Carolina Panthers defense, based off the past 3 weeks minus the last one, that this offense could score 30 points. I'm still hoping for us to get to 27. So because of that, I have us losing.
Dave, I hope you have something better for me.
Honestly, I forget sometimes. So let's throw it up here. Let's see what.
Oh,
yeah.
My.
Oh, yeah. I have that's what it was. I want to be sick, and I think we're going to lose another close one at home. I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm not even going to try to predict it, but yeah, I think it's going to be a heartbreaker. Back to back. Let's make history, baby. First team in NFL history to lose on back-to-back blocks.
Let's do a Hail Mary there.
8-yard line, actually.
Let's lose on a Hail Mary again. Why not? Let's just make it fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh God, I actually know. I honestly, hot take here. I'd rather lose block field goal, miss field goal than a freaking Hail Mary. That
no question. So no question. Because Hail Marys don't the success rate.
But like a blocked field goal, I don't think I've ever seen that in the Bears from the Bears before. Like since watching Bears, I haven't seen them losing off of. I've seen them miss a kick, obviously.
Yeah, miss for sure. We've seen it doink. Everyone remembers that one.
Do you know how close that kick was to going in? It hit the upright.
Yeah.
So or the middle of the bar. Like it could have bounced in. How unlucky are we, dude? Can you imagine it getting blocked and still just barely making it?
Man, and you think like maybe an extra couple yards would have helped there then, because even being blocked, it would have
only they had an opportunity, right? But that doesn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't.
Yeah, we're gonna change that.
Jack, let's get some good stuff. What do you have for us here?
The Bears win. Sam Darnold's a joke. Proves it here. Can't handle the weather. Someone just said that earlier, and I love that. Sam Darnold can't handle Bear weather. It's gonna be snowing, freezing cold. Bears 24. Which I think matches up with what I said with quarter by quarter. Vikings 14. Nice and easy. Caleb 300. 3 passing touchdowns. DeAndre gets none.
Okay.
It's going to be 1 to Cole. DJ, I guess, and then like Keenan.
DJ, I guess. Like you don't even want him to score. I won't go down that road, but
they're gonna like think that he's just walking off the field to go to the sideline, but then take like illegal touch
to his hands.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know why when I think of the Vikings still, I think of Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you guys do. Like if I think, Vikings, like we're playing the Vikings.
Well, yeah, he's there
I
forever.
think of Kirk.
Mine's AP every time.
AP, always AP.
Time.
I think I got that memory out when he retired or something. When I kept on seeing him on other teams because he was on Detroit for a little bit, and like I was like, okay.
You know, I think of Bears legend Jared Allen.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was a dog back then. That was good times.
I hope I'm wrong though. I hope the Bears win a close one. We
too.
could use that good vibes, like actually winning in a close game, situational football.
Yeah, when's the last time we smiled on a post game? You know what I mean? I would like to do that every once in a while.
Oh,
that'd be, I don't know, maybe enjoyment.
I think I smiled on the Hail Mary because I was like, I can't believe this. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, it probably goes back to our last win, which was what was it? LA or Jacksonville? It was London.
Jacksonville.
In London, man.
We have not won in America since coming back.
When's
our next London game?
The last time we won was a morning game.
Yeah, it's true.
That's weird. All right, let's get to our headlines.
Speaking of morning Monday headlines. Say that 3 times. Nordic Nightmare is what I went with. Play on the Vikings because they're gonna destroy us. So that's all I got. It's really
that was good. Nordic
Nightmare.
That was good.
That's that
Vikings lore.
That is.
Yeah, Vikings lore for people that's Nordic.
So. It's cool.
Which is probably the only time I'll use that word this year. So, but
honestly, I don't really like my headline this, but I was just like, make that 5 in a row. Like,
make that 5.
Make that 5. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong.
I do too. Really bad.
5
really
in a row, 5 losses. This is like that one season with Justin. There's like what was the streak? 13, 12 games in a row we lost.
Oh, we lost 13, I think.
13 in a row. Actually, it's the longest losing streak in Bears history.
They've had a couple of losing streaks.
But he's also, I understand it was a rebuild, but still.
5-17 in close games. That's what bothers me. Is it 5-17, 5-12? Something like that. It's not great.
That is such. I saw a lady on Twitter complain about Mike Tomlin.
Oh, I saw that.
Y'all seen that?
Yeah.
And I almost just like, do I quote tweet this but I was like, no, I'm not going to. I was like, but I'll tell you what, whoever that, I can't remember the name, would not last a day, week as a Bears fan. Talking about Mike Tomlin loses his 1 game every year. I'm like,
he hasn't had a losing season in like 18 seasons.
What
are you talking about?
I couldn't believe that. And I don't know if I wish I knew the name or whatever. But anyways, what's your headline, Jack? I'm curious here.
I'm not proud of it. Rough week. Win in Rome. Yeah, it's boring, but congratulations to Rome Odunze. First
I like it.
Yard 2 touchdown game.
He's been
Super
playing well
for him. He needed it. I saw a video earlier today, and it was. Do you guys remember on draft day the video? Rome was like doing an interview, and Caleb walked in.
Yeah.
On it, and
they
were
in front of
great times.
Camera. Yeah, that was like genuinely made me depressed for a bit.
Wish we would have been in. I wish we would have known we were in the good times. What is that quote?
We're the end of times or whatever.
Wish we were in the good old days before we left them or something like that.
Yeah, I wish you know when the good days are. Essentially, whatever that quote is. Yeah,
got to be grateful as a Bears fan. You got to hold on to these little pockets of
off seasons are always so much better. Like this off season's gonna hit like. It's gonna be great, man, because we're gonna get so many picks. We're gonna be like, oh my god, now it's our year. Finally, the
mock
stars
draft
of the
season,
line.
bro. That first mock that hits, boom, I'm in there. Let's go.
Oh man,
Will Campbell, welcome to the Chicago Bears. So,
I just love grading free agents and draft picks before they even take a snap. Like, it's an A. That's an A. Very improved.
To be fair, right. our first free agency signing, actually the first NFL free agency signing, no tampering, by the way. I'd grade that. That went well. DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. God, thank you.
I think we hit on our first 2 draft.
Really bad. I mean,
we hit on our first 2 draft picks too.
Yeah,
I would say Saquon would have been nice.
Yo, I want to know your thoughts on this though. Yeah, Saquon would be nice, but Saquon was not going to come here because we're the Bears. Like he made the 100% the right choice. That was all on him. But I mean, they have a much better offensive line. They're way more stable. You have a quarterback that's at least proven not a rookie. That was the right choice. But I have a question for y'all.
Yeah.
I saw someone complaining.
I wouldn't want to ruin his legacy either. I would feel bad.
That back hurdle would look nice on the Bears uniform, but yeah. How do you guys look? I saw a comment on Twitter and our tweet, and I was like,
it probably would have been his own offensive lineman, honestly, though.
For sure. Yeah, because he'd been so far back in the backfield. But I saw someone being like, yo, F you polls, right? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 of the offensive linemen they drafted have been like pretty good, right? But it's like, how do you guys feel? I feel going into a draft, if you can walk away with 3 quality starters, right? Doesn't matter if you have 7 picks, if you have 3 picks, that's a good draft. You're not going to hit on every pick, right? And you typically want those 3 quality starters to be your first 3 picks, right? So in our case, we look at Ryan Poles in this past season. He got Caleb Williams. I would think we agree with that. Rome Odunze has looked really good.
Leads the team.
Right. Quran is a project, so we'll have to wait on that. I think we like Austin Booker at the value that we got him. That's the 5th rounder. And Torrey Taylor obviously has already shown, I know it's a punter, value's not as high, but with 5 picks, he for sure hit on 3. So being like, man, why didn't you also get the offensive lineman right? And then the 4th, like I'm like, bro, they can't get every.
Yeah, the most important thing there is, I know I love Torrey. That was almost a surefire because we knew what we were getting. But the Caleb and Rome, though, that's the most. Those 2 are just so important. But the most important thing, obviously, is when you take a quarterback in the 1st round, top 10 alone, 1st overall. That's the one. It's like Pace, right? He did really well. He just got he picked the wrong quarterback. So it's like if Caleb is that guy, which many of us believe he can be, that's all that matters. Obviously, it'll catch up to you like Bill Belichick, where he just could not draft offensively. Like it's going to catch up to you, matter of fact. But I do believe in Ryan Poles and his process. Obviously, he has some profile misses. I really don't like the Ryan Bates trade. I mean, that is looking awful. And that it's like the offensive linemen he's targeting are just not hitting.
The only one, maybe Darnell Wright. Yeah, as I say, the only one he's gotten right so far is Darnell. The only one he's gotten right is Darnell.
Yeah, but you're getting these guys. Lucas Patrick was your guy. Bates was your guy. It's a little frustrating when you know that's one side of the ball where I feel like he needs to be.
The thing is, though, follow the money. He has not been on all of the those are such what Bates was.
I think that changes this offseason.
Oh, for sure, it has to. You don't have a choice.
Both sides too.
Yeah,
those
I'm talking
trenches going to get loaded.
Draft and free agency. You're gonna have to spend just obviously, I don't think he's going to go crazy because that's just not his philosophy, but you're going to have to spend more than what you've been spending. Like you can't go, as we talked about, you cannot go value brand on the offensive line anymore. Yeah. I'm sorry. We got to get some top shelf stuff in here.
That's a good way to recap the end of the show right there. Value brands. Yeah, bring it full circle, baby. That's good.
The whole time, we appreciate it. If you've been here the whole time, in the comments, put value brand. We'll give you a shout out. Yeah, got to bring it back full circle. So, yep. Another one here. Do we shout outs? Do we have
any questions, Jack?
Yeah. Oh my. Hold on. No. There. What? There we go. I lost it first. I don't know what happened.
No, it's all good. That's what the Bears team will do to you. We got Brian Steele goated on Twitter. # new face gang with the free Young Thug Avi. We appreciate that.
This one counts.
He's free.
This one counts.
Sarah, I'm going to say Zhang. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. She said, fine. I just subscribed. Thank you so much, Sarah. We really do appreciate that. We do love seeing some from the opposite gender because we know that the sport sometimes is a little too male dominant. So we love having some diversity.
I looked at my analytics on X or Twitter, whatever we call it, and it was like I think it was 1% female.
Yeah, it's probably like 150,000.
I don't think that's
male, but it's pretty bad.
I gotta check. I didn't know you could do that.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got another one here. We got Vizzo Joe with the # OGGGG with the OG as an Avi, Mr. Walter Payton, the GOAT. Appreciate that.
Can you guys guess mine?
And then we got, and guess your what? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, and then we got Imperil here. Oh, you're talking about your analytics. Uh-oh.
Oh, but you have less.
Careful.
What? 8%?
Never mind. Yeah.
8%.
Calm down, buddy. Calm down, Dave.
He's like, # calm down, Dave. Sorry. You guys are throwing me off here at the end of the show. Oh, my goodness. In Peril on YouTube with the # old face game. We appreciate In Peril. You're always in the chats and comments. Sure. Then we got our boy Tito with the # OG baby and hits the show with a $5 banger at the end here. super chat says, hit him with the
got here, Tito.
Stop
it now.
Tito, you're a boom.
Is it a boom or doom here? Sorry. I don't want to do that to y'all. Tito here with the $5 super chat says, because Poles picks O lineman who played like him. Wow, that is mad disrespect. But
Poles didn't even get to play. He got cut.
Yeah, he did. He didn't even make the squad.
Gotta get cut
Had
again.
high effort and tried really hard, but lacked talent. They better throw the bag at the O line this year.
I agree,
Look,
Tito.
I agree, Tito. I think it can get solved in 1 year. It really can. It can get to a really good spot after 1 year. If Poles does it, and that's the main priority, which I think he knows, this might be a whole different team this year. But that means we got to wait.
It's always next
year.
Another
year. Yeah, it's always next year. So I think that's it.
Okay. Well, hey, good preview show. Hopefully we have a fun reaction pod for you on Sunday. We'll be live about 30 minutes after the game, maybe a little bit sooner, depending. But we'll be there like we always are. If you can, hit that subscribe button, like this YouTube video on your way out, whether you're watching live or later. And of course, Apple, Spotify listeners, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back on Sunday.
Peace.